everyone. Welcome to OneMDHealth, where science meets soul. This is a podcast for people that feel unseen in healthcare in particular. And I designed OneMDHealth podcast for everyone to discuss their feelings about healthcare and what it means to have great health and overall awareness. So I want to talk about today is that what happened to the prestige of being a doctor? So this topic I feel is really important to me because I feel it is something that a lot of physicians and patients do think about, but probably do not know how to express it. So where did we go wrong in healthcare where all of a sudden being a physician seemed more like a factory worker, where it seemed more that we were run through corporations? So my intake on this is that it is very much tied into our mental and spiritual health, which is also has shaped healthcare. So when did healthcare become ICD codes? When did patients become ICD codes? When did healthcare become numbers, templates? When did it become a one-size-fits-all? What happened to the doctor-patient relationship back in the 1980s, where doctors were respected for guidance as leaders? So I want to share a childhood moment that I had because I grew up in a family of physicians. Both my mother and my father are both physicians. My father in particular is a general surgeon. I remember when I was 6, 7 years old, and he would be in his surgical residency, and he just really took pride in being a physician and caring for his patients. And you could tell his patients really trusted him, and they really appreciated his skill set, his mindset. He was looked at as almost like a man of authority in a great way, and he took his profession more with pride. I don't seem to really see that anymore in physicians anymore. And also I feel patients are more frustrated with the healthcare system and they no longer trust the system. Particularly, they no longer trust the doctors. So I really was trying to look much more into this, like where did the change happen? Another thing, in my childhood, I remember when patients would drop by and give homemade goods, a bunch of presents. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen still, but it's definitely not the same type of camaraderie. So what has changed? Well, insurance companies, for one, has unfortunately taken over healthcare systems. Also, what has happened is that physicians no longer have any more autonomy. We are run by corporations, we are run by RVUs, we are run to meet certain quota. Therefore, we have to see more patients more in a given day for the same salary, unfortunately, that has not really increased, even though the demand for healthcare has definitely increased. So this leads to physician burnout, dissatisfaction of the healthcare field, and patients feel that. Patients feel dismissed, they feel gaslighted, they feel that their doctor's not listening to them, they feel unseen. So at OneMDHealth, I wanted to change all that. I wanted this platform to be a voice for patients, for physicians, that we can get back to that autonomy. We can get back to listening to patients again. We just have to take back our control and really understand, why did we come into this healthcare profession in the first place? Did we come to serve insurance companies? Did we come to serve quota to make hospital, corporations, organizations more wealthy? Or did we come in this space to really heal patients? Did we come in this space to hold some dignity and pride, to really be in this field, to really help our patients find the root cause of their concerns and their healing at the same time? So that's where I want to get back in that. So why does burnout happen? Why is there frustration? Burnout does not happen in a short amount of time. Burnout happens when you really are left with no choice. So patients feel frustrated and physicians are tired and exhausted. So let's talk about conventional healthcare as we know it. Now, this is not to bash, again, conventional healthcare. I feel conventional healthcare is very important in the medical world. It helps save lives. I'm a hospitalist. I work in a very wonderful hospital that is very important and also are very aware that patient care comes first. We are very aware in our hospital that the patient's well-being and their family's well-being comes first. But we're still missing something in conventional medicine because we are taught to save lives when chronic disease happens. But what happened to preventing that? And another thing, why is medicine all about doctor care visits, pharmaceutical medications? Why do not we talk to our patients about lifestyle? Why do we not talk about exercise, nutrition? Why do we not even discuss the gut microbiome? That is so relevant in healing, and it is not mentioned anywhere in conventional medicine. Why do we not focus on how we can prevent being on certain medications that cause us more side effects, where we have to be on more medications to help those side effects? Everything is all about suppression. Suppress this symptom, suppress this feeling, just suppress it. So the body feels suppressed to the point where it starts to scream, and then you can no longer not hear the screams anymore. And that's where chronic disease emerges: diabetes type 2, insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, cancers. Why did it have to take it this far for the healthcare system to wake up? And then you wonder why we are in this mess now. Doctors every day are leaving their jobs because they are over it. Patients literally walk from doctor to doctor, trying to find another doctor that will hear them, that will understand them, that will spend some time with them. But yet, if you want everything covered under insurance, that's not possible. And it is not because your physician does not care about you. It is really because they just don't have time to care. And they are doing the best they can for you. And this is why functional medicine and lifestyle medicine is really important, because it allows the doctor to finally spend time with their patient. And it's about bringing back the doctor-patient relationship. It's about healing, finding the root cause of symptoms, and understanding your body as a whole. The body does not work in just the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, the digestive system. It works as a unit. It works as a whole. And we are literally missing a very key component, which is honestly understanding our bodies as a whole. We did not lose good doctors. We lost good systems. That's really what it is. So, how do we prevent burnout? Well, a lot of times we are just told to suck it up. Just keep pushing, just keep on pushing until we no longer can push anymore. The best way to handle burnout is honestly understanding your body. Where is it coming from? Why do you feel tired all the time, even if you have a good night's sleep? Why do you not feel like yourself anymore in your own skin? Do we ask these questions to our doctors? What do they tell us? Do they tell us it's a part of aging? It's a part of getting old? But it doesn't have to. Have we ever addressed certain questions about, well, what time do you go to bed and get up in the morning each day? What do you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? How much protein intake do you have in each meal? How often do you exercise? And when you do exercise 3-4 times a week, are you lifting weights? Are you just doing cardio? Are you eating enough nutrients? What does your diet consist of? Do you get enough fruits and vegetables? Okay, how much? And how do you get it? Do you eat a big salad every day? Do you go to the grocery store once or twice a week? We don't ask these questions in our questionnaire when we see patients. We literally spend 10-15 minutes with them, and we put them on a medication, and then we call it a day. And this is not negligence. It's just to the point where we have to look deeper and think deeper, because that's how medicine should be. And that's where OneMDHealth comes in. That's where I come in. Being a hospitalist and doing the job that I do at the hospital, saving lives every day, it got to a point for me is that this is not why I went into medicine. I went into medicine to save lives. That is true. I went into medicine because I want patients to feel better. That is true. But am I really making them feel better when I throw all these pharmaceutical medications at them that literally maybe give them another extra few months to live, but then they come back readmitted with even worse symptoms? And then dealing with frustrated families, upset families, is that you discharged the patient too quickly. You did not really take care of the problem. So families want answers, patients want answers, but it gets to the point, it's too late for answers. Why wasn't this addressed 20 years ago, before the patient was sick, before they were diagnosed with cancer, before they were diagnosed with heart failure, before they were diagnosed with emphysema? Why weren't they told to stop smoking before then? Why wasn't it important to talk about diet then? Because we don't think about these things as importance of our health. We feel that it's not an issue. And this is where we have to assess healthcare, and we have to assess root cause healing. And we have to move away from insurance medicine. Now, should insurance cover functional medicine, lifestyle medicine? I absolutely 100% agree with you. But here's the problem. Insurance is not designed for preventive care. It is designed for sick care. That is the issue. It is designed, how sick are you, in order for us to cover your health. Well, I don't have diabetes yet. I'm not overweight yet. I'm not diagnosed with cancer yet. Well, then you're fine. Your labs are normal. Everything is great. But do you feel great? And it comes to the point, just because you're not sick enough to go into the ER, it doesn't mean you feel great either. So why does it have to be an all or nothing? This is my problem. We are missing a very important in-between layer here. So patients get confused. Well, my labs are normal. I don't have cancer. I'm not diagnosed with a chronic disease. Yeah, I'm a little overweight. I don't feel as great as I did back in my 20s and 30s. And I'm a little bloated after I eat, and things just don't feel that great. But hey, I'm alive. I'm well. I can keep going until 2 years happen later. Oh man, these pounds won't come off. And I'm tired more. I don't have as much energy. Then, a few years later, oh gosh, I'm short of breath when I walk. I have some anemia on my labs, but my doctor told me it's no big deal. Just take some iron. What iron do I take? I don't know. Maybe something over the counter. So there's no guidance. And then you get to the point, 10, 15 years later, I have really bad iron deficiency anemia. I'm noticing blood in my stool now. I can't walk without feeling more short of breath. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling sad. Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. Next thing you know, chest pain. Next thing you know, shortness of breath, and basically feeling swollen all over. Then you get admitted to the hospital. Insurance? Yeah, they'll cover that. But why did it have to take to that point? How about asking questions to the point like, okay, doc, I know something's off with my body. How about not gaslighting patients and not making them feel it's all in their head when it really isn't? How about actually going to a lifestyle medicine, functional medicine doctor and really understanding root cause healing? My labs aren't well, something is not right, I don't feel like myself, and I know something's wrong in my body. I just feel it. I don't feel like myself. And instead of telling patients it's all in your head, you're fine, labs look great, labs look normal. And if you remember in my last podcast episode, I talked about what really normal means, right? Normal is this curve, right? Here is normal, here is abnormal. You're normal here, but you're kind of very close to abnormal. How about let's go more here? Well, maybe you're here, but you don't feel good. You don't feel normal. But let's get you here, and then we'll have insurance pay for it and cover it. That's essentially what is going on. Now, I'm not trying to knock anyone that takes insurance. I think it's important. Insurance is very important to get colonoscopies done, to get mammograms done, to get preventive screening done, okay? It is important to have your primary care physician do all of that for you. Your annual checkups are important. I am just saying it's incomplete if you still don't feel like yourself. And you can't expect a system to cover insurance-based care if you want root cause healing, because the system is not designed to cover root cause healing. It is designed to keep you okay enough until you're sick enough for them to cover it. That is the brutal, honest truth. I have worked in the healthcare system for 20 years as a hospitalist, and I've seen it. And my main frustration with it is that Why couldn't have these patients been taught about nutrition, exercise, mindfulness, healing, decrease in risky substances like smoking and alcohol? Why couldn't have this been taught earlier, 10, 15 years, to avoid the crisis in the healthcare industry? Why does it have to take now? Why are physicians burnt out and completely booked for months just for 15-minute visits over patients who are literally dying of chronic disease? Did you know that literally almost 60% of all Americans are diagnosed with a chronic disease? 60%. And that number goes up every year. So we are missing a huge gap. So when I designed OneMDHealth, it was really for patients to really have a doctor listen to what is going on with them, to really understand their root cause of their symptoms. If you're feeling tired, bloated, fatigued, if weight is not coming off like it used to, if you are feeling like you don't have control of your symptoms, your body anymore, that something's wrong, if symptoms don't make any sense, then you need to see a functional medicine doctor that can do blood work, okay, that goes beyond just general cholesterol, general kidney function, general labs. It is about, let's look at inflammatory markers. Let's look at markers such as CRP. Let's look at fasting insulin. Let's go beyond just an A1C. Let's diagnose insulin resistance before it becomes type 2 diabetes. Let's find certain markers of cancer that do show up in our labs before we are diagnosed with cancer. Let's look at toxins. Let's look at anemia, but let's just not look at hemoglobin. Let's look at iron. Let's look at ferritin. It's an important marker for how much your body stores iron. Let's look at all these other markers. And let's stop putting patients on GLP-1s before we even address the root cause. Because again, GLP-1s, these weight loss drugs, they do work, but temporarily because you have not identified the root cause of your issues. So how about let's do what I call the non-sexy stuff first. And what does that mean? Let's do a thorough blood work. Let's do a CBC, a liver function test. Let's do lipid panel, but let's check ApoB. Let's check small particle LDLs. Let's check ferritin level. How well does your body store iron, which is literally your powerhouse, your food source for your cells? Let's test CRP. Let's check, let's check an ANA, but let's go further into it. Let's check ANA now. Why wait till you have symptoms of possible lupus or rheumatoid arthritis? Let's check it now because ANA is an early inflammatory marker. Then let's check your gut microbiome, which will be in the next podcast episode. Let's check the gut microbiome, which is literally your total center of absorbing nutrients, of fighting off disease, honestly, keeping your body in a healthy manner. Let's do that. So that is what's going to give you answers. And unfortunately, you may have to pay out of pocket for it. Well, this is how I look at it. As a hospitalist myself, as a medical doctor, a functional medicine doctor, a lifestyle medicine doctor, board certified in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine, this is how I live my life. And this is honestly how I'm able to sustain my health and my life. My health has always been my priority in my life. But I did not grow up in an environment where that everybody was doing what I was doing. I'm not saying that it was always perfect, and did I have bad foods every now and then? Of course I did. I was human. But I always knew there were key principles that were very important. Nutrition was really important. Protein is literally important. Fruits and veggies. No matter what, I had fruits and vegetables for dinner. I had enough protein, even if I ate out, even if I could not control if there were seed oils in it. These were the certain principles I followed. But we're not taught that. You go to the medical hospitals, I mean, the food that they serve us, it's almost to the point like, how can you serve this food? Like, you have to, what happened to fruits, vegetables, protein? So it all starts with education. So I can tell you, as a medical doctor, even if it costs you something outside of your pocket, you need to invest in your health like it is your wealth. Because there's no point in having an amazing job in the world, being a CEO of a large company, being a medical doctor, that you're healing lives, saving lives, but you're neglecting your own health. How is that sustainable in the long run? You have to look at your health where this is something I invest in so that I can work another 10, 15 years in my life. So I am thriving and I'm not just surviving. That's how we have to look at it. So my main talk of this today is to understand what happened to the prestige of being a physician. Why doesn't it feel that way anymore? It's because a lot has changed. Autonomy has been taken away from physicians, and patients are gaslighted. And that has turned healthcare into more of a business instead of a right. And I'm here to bring back that right to you. And unfortunately, I cannot do it in an insurance-based system where healthcare is sick care. I can only do it in a way where I can be authentic and have full autonomy to help heal you in every way, shape, or form, so that physicians can stop feeling burnt out and patients can actually feel heard. And it starts with growth, and it starts with a movement. To me, medicine, for me, is a calling. It's a profession. It's a movement. It is not just a job. So if this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to reach out to me if you want to find the root cause of your healing, if you want to thrive in midlife and not just survive, if you want to stop burnout at its core, and if you want to feel heard again and feel seen in medicine. Reach out to me at samiyahashmimd.com, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.